Good afternoon. Let me introduce Lawrence Speidell. Lawrence Speidell is a well-recognized expert in frontier market. Good afternoon,
Hi.
Lawrence.
Pleasure.
Could you tell us what is frontier markets?
Well, a frontier market is defined by the people who produce indexes. And the common index for emerging markets is produced by Morgan Stanley, or it's actually now called MSCI. It happens that MSCI has given the title emerging markets to about 25 countries. There are 60 more stock markets that are smaller than those, different from those, not included in the emerging markets world. Those are all great opportunities, and those are all frontier.
Okay, you said that they are great opportunities. What are the key drivers for frontier markets for the next, I would say, decade?
Yeah, I think every market's unique, but there are probably four things that are critical. One of them is human capital. The second one is investment, which is a function of savings. The third one is government, and the fourth one is culture.
Pretty interesting. Argentina has been characterized as a frontier market some years ago due to capital constraints. And you have several footnotes that particularly make it unique to Argentina because it has some issues of emerging markets and some issues of frontier markets. Could you elaborate a little bit more about this?
Well, I think Argentina has a number of advantages. Some of them, essentially geographic in terms of resources, natural resources, very rich. Others in terms of the population of the country. But when you go to the stock exchange, you see a huge facility. But when you look at the stock market, you see only a small fraction of the investment choices that were here, that could be here, that someday we hope will be here. So a lot of things are in motion right now. And some of those things I think are going to turn out positive, but we don't know when.
What about YPF? They are talking about some, I would say, joint venture with Gazprom. What do you think about it?
Well, I think right now YPF has a challenge getting capital because it has disenfranchised a lot of potential players. However, Gazprom is inclined to strike a deal in parts of the world that other people will not go. The consequence, however, of striking a deal with Gazprom is that you need to be very careful about what you deliver to Gazprom. So you need to think twice about exactly who it is on the other side of the table.
Do you mean corporate governance, for instance?
Oh, that's one of the things, yes. Yes, I mean, there are a lot of issues that many markets have, and I'm afraid that the Russian stock market is not known for its transparency. Thinking from the standpoint of a CFA, a chartered financial analyst, what we really would like is to have an active CFA society, ensuring that corporate governance is good, ensuring that shareholders, especially minority shareholders, are going to be well treated.
Ian Brenner rebranded the term state capitalism. What do you think the impact of this state capitalism trend in frontier markets? What could be the influence of this state capitalism trend in frontier markets?
Well, I think that the history of economics is full of examples of state capitalism which have not worked out as well as the state capitalists thought. And we are in a period where there are some examples that are positive. In, for example, the somewhat directive approach of China to reviving its economy. But I think over the long term, it's not the state, but the private sector that does the heavy lifting.
Okay. In the case of coming back to Argentina, what are, in your views, the best sectors?
Well, views by sector, they're limited because of the limited opportunity set. So I guess I would say that banks are one of the first areas that one comes to look at throughout the world, throughout the developing world, and the reason for that is that banks in the developing world are focused on relatively simple transactions at relatively high margins with relatively unsophisticated customers, compared with banks in the developed world that are off in a corner developing their own new kinds of products that not even they themselves understand. Moving beyond that, however, here in Argentina, you have the richness of the agricultural sector and the opportunities of many companies to take advantage of new agribusiness models and to capture the desire of the entire developing world for better food and Argentine beef.
Well, as a concluding question, could you tell me two main risks that you see for the economy and two opportunities for the case of Argentina?
Well, I think the opportunities are obvious. This is a cheap market with an outstanding environment in terms of its natural beauty, its natural resources, and its educated and outstandingly friendly population. And on the other side, the risks are largely macroeconomic because there's a lot of confusion about the longevity of policies in place and policies that may be just around the corner that no one can predict. Some kind of stability of that outlook is a step forward, and hopefully that will come soon.
Okay. Many thanks, Mr. Speidell, for coming to visit our country and for visiting this prestigious university. Many thanks to all of you for watching.
Thank you.